We are thrilled that you're here. And I'm going to be co-hosting tonight with Lindsay Young, and she's going to be, there's Lindsay. Hi, Lindsay. And you just met Kristen Barclay, the founder of Foodqu. This is the second class of Foodq's Nomnivore Series. And the focus is to bring approachable and aspirational demonstrations, how-tos, and conversations for all taste buds and eating styles. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Kerry and Tommy, as I mentioned, are from Charcuterie Woo, and they're going to be guiding us step by step on how to make a gorgeous holiday charcuterie board. And I want to tell you a little bit about Charcuterie Woo. I mean, they're going to tell you more, but I'll just give you a little synopsis. Kerry Dwyer is the owner and creator of Charcuterie Woo. In 2020, when the pandemic started, Kerry's ICU was abruptly turned into a COVID ICU unit. And this created a lot of stress at work and at home. And in an effort to alleviate some of that stress, Kerry and Tommy decided to plan a different date for every night of the week. I think that's so cool that you did that. Monday nights were their night to make a charcuterie board and watch The Bachelor. Cheers to that. It quickly became their favorite night of the week. And then after months of doing this, the boards got prettier and tastier, and Tommy encouraged Kerry to post them on social media. And they ended up gaining a lot of attention. And now they do hundreds of orders a month, workshops all over Massachusetts and New England. And they are online tonight with us at Foodqu, and they're continuing to expand their business. So Kerry and Tommy, tell us a little bit about what you are doing tonight. What is a charcuterie board? What's a charcuterie board?
Absolutely. We can walk through, and thank you so much. And thank you for Foodqu for having us. We really appreciate it. We're super excited for tonight. I'm Tom. This is my wife, Kerry. Kerry's a little bit shy. So she's a charcuterie master, but I'm not shy. So we're a little bit like Penn and Teller. I'll do a lot of the talking and carnival barking, and she can do the actual charcuterie board making. We make a good couple that way. So you kind of hit the nail on the head with how we all got started. And what brought us here today. So we're super excited, and I can walk you through the board today. Everybody should have a picture that was sent out upside down, but it's round, so it can't really be upside down. So we have a picture of what we're making tonight, and then we can walk through some of the ingredients that are on your board. And feel free, Lisa and Lindsay, to hop in with any sort of substitutions or vegetarian type options. I'm a vegetarian myself, so I'm excited to hear a lot of these also. So
we will absolutely be doing that. Yes.
Awesome. That's perfect. I'll walk you through what we have on our board tonight and some other cool, unique options you can do if you're making these along with us, or if you want to just take these and take these home and make it home.
You know what, Tom? You can hear you on your other phone. Turn it all the way down or mute it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm muted on this one. So it might be someone else.
It's equivalent in Dartmouth, in Devonshire. Yeah, my father wasn't in the Britannia.
We'll keep rolling through the technical difficulties.
If everyone could mute, that would be really helpful. Thank you so much. Maybe it was someone else. Okay.
See, I'm telling you, I always take the heat for everything, but I'm not a bad guy. In all honesty, I'm a pretty good guy. So what we have on the board tonight, we're going to use a Columbus hard salami. The reason we use the Columbus hard salami is when we're making the roses, it really helps the rose well. We're going to walk through, this is someone else again, I'm telling you, it's not me. We're going to walk you through two different ways to make a rose. There's sort of a more simple way and a little more complex way. We'll walk you through both of those tonight. Some people love one way, some people will do one of each. Or if you like one of the first ones or second one, keep that and do that way, whatever makes you happy, right? The hard salami, we started using a Genoa when we started, but it really didn't form and keep the shape well. I know there's some options here to substitute the salami out. If you want to go ahead and say those, that'd be great too for any vegetarians out there.
So some great suggestions for that would be, so for vegans or vegetarians, I would suggest you could use a beautiful watermelon radish if you have that available in your area. You could also just substitute it with another nut milk based cheese. Oh, I can hear myself too. Okay. A nut milk based cheese, or you could add some dried fruit, like dates, something, or if you have access to fresh figs, those always look so beautiful. So those are some suggestions to get people started in a hopefully simple way.
And I know that you mentioned there was a vegan salami substitute also. I remember seeing that. Is that, I don't know where you get that.
So there's, thank you for reminding. So there's what, it's a little, it's not as thin. So making the rosebud might be a little bit more challenging, but what you could use is there's a company called Fig, and they have Greek style salami. They use pistachios. The base is date, and they have chorizo flavor, and they're really delicious.
Yeah,
that sounds great. I love chorizo.
And we'll send all of those to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm certainly excited about that. Pre-vegetarian, I was a huge chorizo guy. So anything that can give me that sort of same flavor, I'm all in.
Yes.
So along with the hard salami, we're going to use a Brie cheese tonight. The Brie cheese is delicious. We have it all in the refrigerator. Sort of a pro tip when you're doing this cheese, when you're slicing the cheese, you want to slice it cold right out of the refrigerator. You're going to get your most clean, nice slices when it's cold. And then when you serve it, you're going to want to serve it room temperature to get that nice, delicious umami flavor for your guests. So always slice the cheese when it's cold. Always serve the cheese at a room temperature. And another pro tip, I always say slice the cheese. You don't want to say cut the cheese. So that's just a little pro tip of mine also. The Brie is a delicious, super flavorful cheese. It's high in rich in fat and proteins. And it's really, really a delicious cheese. It's one of my favorite ones that we use. We're also going to walk through a pecan pie goat cheese. And we'll teach you tonight. I believe the recipe has already been sent out, but if you buy a plain log of goat cheese, we'll teach you how to flavor goat cheese however you want. It's a super simple process that will get you a ton of compliments if you're bringing this to a party, as opposed to just serving it with plain goat cheese. So we'll show you how to slice that, as well as how to make your own flavored goat cheese. We have harvest wheat crackers on the board tonight. I'll show you one of these too. We use these in particular because one thing we sort of see when people are making cheese boards is they'll overload it with flavors, right? So the goat cheese, the Brie cheese, the salami, those are all really strong flavors. These harvest wheat crackers are a nice complement to that. You don't want to have a super flavorful cracker. You want the cracker to sort of be the vessel for the cheeses and the meats that are on your board. And another thing sort of along those same lines, when you're designing a board, try and come into it with a flavor profile. A lot of times when we see people making boards at home on their own, they'll have sort of a mishmash of ingredients that don't really flow well together. So whether your theme is a brunch board, or whether your theme is a Mediterranean theme board, or sort of a winter flavor board like we're doing tonight, try and make sure that everything that you bring on your board has a nice cohesive story to it, so that it's not just random ingredients on a board. And I think that's one way to really kick it up a notch from your sort of average cheese board to something that people will talk about.
So Tom, how do you go about creating that? So like, let's say there's someone who's truly a beginner and they say, well, how do I know if it's a mishmash or not?
Absolutely. Well, one thing I think, and Kerry, you can certainly hop in here too. One thing we do is we utilize local vendors, right? So we utilize local cheese shops, local butchers, local bakers, right? And ask them, ask professionals. So, you go to the cheese shop and you say, hey, we have this really strong Brie. What does that pair well with in terms of drinks, in terms of other flavors? So ask your local professionals, always utilize those around you. And then I think another thing is, whatever your strongest flavors are, build around those. So if you have a really strong flavored cheese, build around that so you're not putting in competing flavors. Kerry, what are your thoughts? Anything you'd add there?
Yeah, something in particular we do is like a Mediterranean board. So speaking to the same thing Tommy said, we use Ed Heider's, which is a Mediterranean market in Worcester. And we'll use their hummus, we use their olives, and they're pita bread. So we'll do cheeses that can kind of pair with that as well. They also sell a lot of different cheeses, a lot of different salamis. So yeah, just like you said, ask anybody at the counter there. If you're going with a theme, like a brunch board, a Mediterranean board, you can kind of just stay in line that way.
Yeah. And I think that, use your experts around you and then sort of use your own flavor profiles of what you think would be good. The only reason I bring this up is you'll sometimes see people do say a brunch board and they'll have, mini muffins and bacon, then like peppers. And it's like, maybe don't do such contrasting flavors on the same board. So just a little pro tip. And along the lines of that as well, if you're making this at home and you are doing a Mediterranean type board, like Kerry brought up, substitute out those harvest wheat crackers and substitute in that garlic crostini that we sent the recipe for. Again, it's something that's super, super simple that we'll get a ton of compliments on. And when you're buying baguettes, a pro tip is, even if you're going to a big grocery store like a Shaw's or a Big Y, if you ask the baker to slice it for you, they'll slice it for you. So if you have, a huge board that you're doing, ask them to slice the bread, pre-slice it for you, put a little garlic powder, sea salt, and olive oil, pop them in the oven and broil them for 2 minutes on each side. And you're going to have a delicious, flavorful crostini that we get a ton of compliments on, and it's super easy to make at home. So definitely a way to kick your board up a notch. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Well, can we get into making the board?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's dive in. So what we'll do here, we're going to start with our salami rows. The reason we start with this is because we build the board around the rows. So this is going to be the centerpiece of our board. And what I will do is I'll take our second camera here and I'll zoom in on Kerry's hands so that we can see how it goes while she's doing it. So let me grab my camera in 1 second.
Okay. So all you're going to need for this first step is 7 pieces of salami. So if you guys also got your 1 ounce cup, we're going to be using that to form the rows the first way.
Okay, so you definitely need a little 1 ounce cup.
A little 1 ounce cup. Yeah.
If you don't have one of those, you can substitute like a shot glass. Is a nice substitution.
That's a good suggestion. Okay.
Yeah, because not everyone has a little plastic.
Right. Where do you get those little 1 ounce cups?
These I just got off of Amazon, and I can send the link as well.
Okay,
you can buy them in bulk and get a million of them.
So I have to ask you, have you taken the food personality quiz?
Yes, I did.
What was your dominant?
I was like very dominant of shoot, what was it? I can pull it up. What are the
don't worry
options?
about it. Think about it after.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
So for the first step, you take your 1 ounce cup and you take your first piece of salami and you just fold it over, kind of just lightly fold it in half right over the side of the cup. You don't want the salami to be touching the bottom. So you just kind of want to gently fold it.
Okay, great.
And then you take your next piece and overlap that by about 1/3.
Yeah. Over here.
Oh, okay.
For a second, my phone just cut out of the meeting.
Going to overlap that by about 1/3. And then you're just going to continue around with all 7 pieces. So it's going to overlap your first piece and you just kind of continuously go around in a circle.
I'm sorry, how many pieces are you using in total?
7 for each rows.
7.
Yeah.
So the vegan salami that I mentioned from Fig, and then there's another one by Renegade, those would have to be sliced so thin and they're a lot smaller. They're not as thick. So I would say that someone would want to make their own, maybe a fan shape with them to create.
The second way we're going to do the rows might be a little easier with that.
Yeah, the second way might work for the vegan substitution.
So when you have all 7 pieces, the middle is going to kind of look like that. You want to create the little cone shape in the middle, and then it just kind of layered around.
Okay, great.
And then what you're going to do is kind of cup right around just to form it to the cup so it'll hold its shape. And are you able to show on here? Okay. And then you're going to find where you want to place it on your board and just flip the cup upside down. And when you take it off, you'll get the shape of the rose.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, I think a key
like
to
a
this, when we do these live, we end up with a lot of like salami sombreros, right? Where it may not fit as tightly around. The key to doing this, once you have it wrapped around, is to form it like a snowball.
Bless you.
It's to make like you're making a snowball and really cup it around in order to hold that shape that you want to get.
Oh, so you're doing is that a second layer?
So you're going to go around with all 7 pieces. So to create like a couple layers. But when you flip it, you'll get that rose shape.
Lovely.
Hey, Kerry and Tommy, we've had a couple questions. Do you mind if I jump in and ask them? So one question, Susan was asking, what is the name of the market you just mentioned?
It's called, it's called Ed Hyder's. It's a Mediterranean market in Worcester, right on Pleasant Street.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And then
if you're from around the area and you want anything Mediterranean, their hummus is so good that I could literally drink a bowl of it. Like it is delicious. Yeah.
sounds like really good hummus.
Really good.
I'm not that crazy either. Yeah.
Another question we had is, you mentioned umami earlier being a flavor profile. Can you tell us what is umami?
Yeah, I'm like, now I'm hearing myself twice. Hold on.
Umami is just that real rich, flavorful, like that punch. Yeah, je ne sais quoi flavor. So you'll get that with like a really rich and fat and protein type cheese. It's kind of that sweet, salty combination, delicious. I don't know how to explain it as well as I guess I thought I did, but Lisa, you might have a better explanation. But to me, it's just that like, ooh, like really rich flavor.
Right. So essentially, it's some good examples of it might be soy sauce has that umami flavor, or coconut amino acids has that umami flavor, a burger, shiitake mushrooms. So, and then our friend Chef Romaine, he put it very well. It's a balance of flavors.
Yeah.
So it has that, it can have that meaty sort of flavor to it.
Yeah, to me, it's like a sound. Every time I think of it, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, because the thing is that you really can achieve that flavor without something that is, that's animal based. You can get it from nature as well. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And then, yes, Romaine accurately described it as sweet, acid, salty, bitter. So it's really bringing all of those flavor components together, and you can really taste the, there's like even if there isn't really any fat, there's that fattiness to it as well.
Yeah, and that's why that brie and like the goat cheese has that just so good. Yeah. Chef Romaine, thank you, by the way, and thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Is everybody good with the first way to do the rose?
I think so. Yeah. Trying to log back in on our second camera here.
Okay.
Well,
all right. So what are we working on next?
So we're going to show you guys next the second way how to do a rose. And if you guys have the 2-ounce cup, we're going to use this one. A substitute, maybe just like a ramekin or a smaller cup you would have in the kitchen.
We used, sometimes when Kerry first started, we actually used like a jam jar.
Yep.
Like a little jar that you would get like preserves in as a nice substitution here.
With this rose, again, you're going to use 7 pieces. So you'll take the first 3 pieces, and I usually describe it as trying to make like a Venn diagram of the 3 pieces.
I call it a Mickey Mouse head, but whatever works for you.
Either way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Space them out like that, and then you're going to transfer it right to your 2-ounce cup, and just make sure all the pieces overlap in the middle, and you're going to kind of just push them down into the center of the cup.
And
So
this is the same size salami.
Same size
Same
salami.
salami,
Yep,
yeah.
same brand, same size. So this is going to make the outer petals of your rose.
Okay. Great.
Okay. So that's that. Then you're going to take 4 other pieces of salami and line them up, overlapping again by about 1/3.
And if anyone wants to compliment my camera work in the chat, I'd certainly be happy for that.
All right. And once you have them lined up, you're going to fold them in half onto itself. And then you can kind of use the oils of the salami to have them stick together. So just press it down, and then it's going to look a little like that.
Okay, great.
Okay.
We call this like the salami caterpillar.
Yes. Half circles. And then you're going to start at either end of the rows, and you're just going to tightly roll from one end to the other.
Oh, like rolling a cigar.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Once you have it all rolled, it's going to look like this.
Wow, it's amazing what you can do with salami.
I know, a lot of art. All right, once you have your roll, you're going to stick it right into the center of your cup and then gently fluff out the petals from the outside in. You want to kind of keep that little tight spiral in the middle so you create a nice rose.
Oh, look at, we have edible art.
Beautiful.
And the beautiful part about this rose, this is the one Kerry prefers to do most of the time. But the awesome part about this is this stays in your cup. So like the other one we flipped out, this one sits right in the cup. So this may lend itself better actually to that vegan salami that you talked about, because it doesn't really have to hold its shape. It can kind of sit in the cup. And then we use the other fillers, like the berries and the strawberries and the grapes, to hide the cup so that you don't see the cup at the end.
I see. Now, is this purely for decorative use, or do people actually take pieces of the salami?
Oh, yeah.
People I think are a little hesitant to dig in right away because they do look pretty. But honestly, as you grab from the outside, you can just take a piece out like that, and it still kind of holds its shape. So you can kind of eat around it and take them out from the sides. And then, you know, when the 3 outside petals are left, you can just grab at those.
Yeah, I just saw a question. Someone asked which one pulls apart easier. I would say this one holds its shape better while you pull it apart. So you can take slices out of this one and it will still look like a rose, whereas the other one.
This one, you can start from the middle and pull the pieces out that way.
Ah, okay. And you know, someone brought up a good point. Smoked salmon, you might not be able to use the cups in the same way, but smoked salmon would make a really beautiful.
Yeah, that's a great
idea.
As well.
We're going to use that.
That's a very good idea.
Thanks, Jill.
Thank you, Jill.
Wow. You want to move on?
Jill, we'll give you a shout out next time if we use that.
Salmon, we'll tag you.
Woo.
Right. So everybody good with the roses? Everybody on target here. We can move on to the, we're going to do the Brie Pinwheel next. The reason we're doing that next is, again, this is the second sort of biggest piece of the board and what we're building the board around. So Kerry's going to grab the Brie and we'll show you how to slice this into the pinwheel that we make.
So
wonderful. And if someone's looking for a swap, a dairy-free swap, I always like, and it's usually available all over, at least the US. I can't speak internationally, but Treeline, which is a cashew milk cheese. There's Kite Hill, which is an almond milk cheese. And then there's Miyoko's, which is also a plant-based cheese. And those you can find in most Whole Foods or maybe even probably Albertsons. I'm trying to think of stores around the country, definitely Sprouts and Erewhon. So no matter where you're calling in from, you should probably be able to find that.
Yeah, I feel like Trader Joe's, I've seen them at also.
Yeah, Trader Joe's.
You know what? I don't live near a Trader Joe's anymore, so I'm not as up on what Trader Joe's has these days.
I go there for a lot of my vegetarian food.
They have a good selection. Yeah, so I'm sure Trader Joe's, whether even if they don't have those brands, I'm sure they have some kind of plant-based cheese at this point.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
if you guys got the 8-ounce round Brie, kind of looks like this, but we're actually only going to use half of it. So the first step with this is you can cut it evenly, just right in half.
What kind of knife do you like to use?
For this, I use, for most of the board, when we do the workshops, we use a paring knife, kind of like this.
Okay.
These knives are just, that has Brie on it now, but this is just a bigger version of that knife.
Right.
Just to cut the Brie in half. But for the, to cut the little wedges that we're going to use, I'm going to use the smaller of the paring knife.
And when you're looking at umami, right in here in that center of the Brie, that's the umami. It is so delicious.
So with the pinwheel, we're going to use 8 wedges. So what I normally do, because you want to keep your pieces really nice and even. So what I usually do is cut it in half and then quarter it and then cut it into 8ths.
Oh, that's a great technique that everyone can use.
Yeah, just to keep it nice and even. All right. And once you have your 8 pieces, you kind of pick where you want to place it on your board. If you're following along with our picture, it's in like the top right quadrant.
Now, when you're placing cheeses on the board, there's a few things you want to be mindful of. One is obviously visually, you want to keep the board nice and balanced. So you can see where Kerry has 1 rose on the left, she'll put 1 rose on the right, 1 cheese in the top right, 1 cheese in the bottom left. So you want to create a balance. And that's something that's sort of understated in making a really visually pleasing charcuterie board. The other reason for this is when you have super strong flavors together, like this Brie and goat cheese, you don't want the cheeses to touch. So the cheeses can be close, but you don't want the cheese to touch because they'll start to bleed flavors into each other. And then you'll end up with a mishmash of flavored cheeses. So if you're doing a different style board and the cheeses are very close to each other, that's fine. Use some of your filler again, your blueberries, your strawberries, to fill in between the cheeses to create a little bit of a boundary.
So do you find that most people like to have the cheese sliced ahead of time as opposed to putting a block of cheese on the board?
Yes, especially if they're having it for like a party. People aren't going to want to like sit there.
It just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, it's more manageable to like take a smaller piece. Like this Brie wedge is a great little serving size.
Right.
And also, I think too, from a visual standpoint, there's so many different techniques and styles you can do when you slice the cheese. I think it's much more visually appealing. That being said, if you're doing an enormous board and you put, you know, a piece of Brie on it and it's not sliced, I don't think it's the end of the world. But I do think that people prefer it, and I think it's a little bit fancier as well.
And we have
it's a little bit more chic.
Yeah, exactly.
Little pizzazz. All right, so to start the pinwheel, you're going to take your first piece and use it as an anchor piece on the board. So I'm going to follow along with the picture, and I'm going to put the first piece to start the Brie wheel in the right, here, I don't know if you're in the top right quadrant. And then you're going to take your second piece and just kind of layer it around in a pinwheel. So you want the middles to touch, and then just to, they can overlap in the middle and just kind of spread out a little bit on the edges.
We always say we gently touch tips.
So you're just going to continue that all the way around to make a circle. And it doesn't have to be perfect the first time you do it. That's the best part about working with cheese, is it's all pretty pliable. So you can kind of maneuver it after the fact. For your last slice, the trick to this, to make it all like one continuous circle, lift up your first piece, that anchor piece, and tuck the last piece in.
That's a good tip.
Thank you. And then to kind of make it a little more circular and together, you can kind of just cup it with your hands to round it out a little bit. And it doesn't have to be beautiful in the middle. We're going to be garnishing that. So if there's any mistake or like kind of difference in cutting, we're just going to end up covering that at the end.
And if you make an error when you're slicing it, same with the goat cheese, tuck those pieces in and use your most visually pleasing pieces as the ones that you see the most.
That makes sense. So so I'd love to know, Lindsay, who is cooking with us tonight? Who's preparing the charcuterie board? Because we might want to feature you at the very end. See how yours came out too.
Yeah, I'd love to see
I'd
that.
love to see those,
Yeah.
Yes, that would be good. So for everyone who's on the call tonight, I know you heard by email that we also have some amazing giveaways. And the way that we're selecting our giveaway winners is we want to hear from you what your FQ is. So if you've taken the Foodqu quiz, I'll put the link in the chat right now. We would love to hear what is your FQ, what is your main personality that came through for you on the quiz. And then absolutely, for those of you who are actually creating charcuterie boards with us tonight, we would love for you to take pictures of those, send them to us, post them on social media. Please tag Foodqu and Charcuterie Woo. We would love to see those. I know I've got 3 children and in the other room who are all creating their own boards.
Oh, we have to see them, Lindsay, at the end.
We always love that too. When we do live classes, we always have everyone do a before and after picture and tag us and tag the winery or brewery that we're doing them at, because we love to see your work and see how they all turned out. Yeah. All right. So
what goes in the middle?
Well, here we go. The next one, we're going to just take our honey wheat crackers. We're going to continue to build out sort of the outline of the board here. And we're going to place those between the salami rows in the brie. Here's how you always know people that play poker well. They just lay them out there, and they just lay the crackers out like that. So again, we're sort of doing biggest to smallest visually, so that we continue to build that cohesive look to the board. So once you have those crackers laid out, and again, you could use the crackers, you could use the baguette, you could use the crostinis, totally up to you. We're gonna walk through how to slice the goat cheese.
And so I just want to jump in and say that if harvest wheat crackers are not something that you or your guests can eat, I love to swap in Simple Mills. It's a grain-free cracker, almond flour based. And then also, if there are nut allergies, I mean, definitely look for some gluten-free crackers at your store. And I'm sure that there's so many today. It's amazing. You can even find gluten-free baguette. So they were talking about their garlic crostini, and Char is a great brand where you can either order it online, or a lot of stores carry it now. And so just ask your grocer, ask your local cheese shop, and they may actually have something gluten-free.
Awesome. Yeah. And before we actually slice this goat cheese, Kerry, do you want to walk through, I know we sent the recipe out, but how to make this and how to make sort of any kind of goat cheese that you'd like, right?
Yeah. So what we have tonight is a pecan pie goat cheese. So this is actually my creation, and it's really simple to make. All you do is take crushed pecans, brown sugar, and graham crackers. Crush all those ingredients together. I usually do it in a big Ziploc bag so it doesn't get too messy. And then roll out some parchment paper, take just a plain log of goat cheese. And then you want to just coat the goat cheese in the mixture until it's just fully covered, like as you can see here. And then you're going to wrap it really tightly in saran wrap and put it in the fridge overnight so everything sticks together pretty well.
Yeah. And if you have a nut allergy, you can do this with blueberries, you can do this with cranberries,
Sliced thin strawberries and rosemary.
Sliced thin strawberries and rosemary, like any flavor combination you can think of to kind of follow the same process, and you can make your own flavored goat cheese. And it's again a really simple hack that will get you a lot of attention. All right,
I love that. You gotta use the fresh. I love the rosemary idea, like the fresh herbs and cracked pepper. Oh, yeah. You know what would be great too? Some of that truffle salt would be amazing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That umami.
That nice umami, yeah.
I know.
Okay, and if you guys also grabbed unflavored dental floss.
Yeah, you don't want to use the minty dental floss, but yeah.
That's how we're going to slice the goat cheese. It just gives it a nice easy slice, and it doesn't have like any of the outer edges bleed into the middle.
Yeah, and that's why you don't want to use a knife. If you use a knife, it gets squished down, the flavors still sort of bleed out. So you're gonna want to do this hard and fast. I always get nervous when Kerry does this. If we're arguing, it just starts snapping it makes me kind of nervous, but hard and fast. You're gonna want to try and get about 6 slices out of this.
Depending on the size.
Depending on
This
the
will
size,
get a few,
obviously,
yeah.
And this is cold, correct?
This is
Yes.
cold. The best, we took it right from the fridge, and that's just the easiest way to get those nice, clean cuts.
And how far in advance do you make the charcuterie board before serving it?
I usually try to do things the day of, just because the crackers will stay fresh on the board. It's definitely fine the day, like a day before as well, and keep it in the fridge. Anything more than 2 days, if you have crackers or baguette on the board, it tends to get a little soggy.
Yeah, I like the sliced fruit.
Yeah. But you can, if you do a board without crackers or baguette on it, if you keep the fruit uncut, if things won't get as soggy on the board.
Okay, so you could start prepping the salami, the roses, the cheeses, and then maybe at the very end, you can construct it so that
Exactly.
the baguette, the crackers, the fruit are all fresh and
Exactly.
not soggy, because no one who wants that, right?
Right. One tip for that is if you do make the roses like this, you can make them like 2 days in advance actually, and just keep them in like an airtight Tupperware, and they stay just as fresh.
Wonderful.
Okay. So we're going to start placing the goat cheese. And you're just, again, if you're following along with the picture, you can do like the bottom left edge of the board. And you just kind of want to layer it around itself. So you can kind of show off the edges. If there's any piece that didn't slice very well, this piece I don't love. So I'm going to put the nicer side on the outside and then cover it up with the piece that I do like.
And so if someone would prefer to be more plant-based, again, you could use the tree line cheese, which would be so great for it. They have a softer one. And then you can create that shape of goat cheese that you traditionally see and wrap it in saran wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's perfect. So let's put the cheeses. We're going to move on to kind of start to fill in the board a little bit. I think Tommy had touched on it before, but as you're doing your filler and your garnishes, you do want to just keep in mind to keep the board like aesthetically pleasing. So balance out your colors. If you have a couple little stacks of grapes, you want to maybe put it on the left and right of your board, or top and bottom of your board, and then you'll fill in with the other colors. We have fig spread, so I'm going to put my fig spread right on top of the goat cheese there.
And what do you have the fig spread in?
That again is just a little 1 ounce cup, but you could do a shot glass for that as well. Or a little ramekin, whatever you have.
If you're using too many shot glasses, there might be an issue, but.
You know, I collect these just little, they're like little cups, and I sometimes intersperse them and they look really pretty.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
Really
Yeah.
good. So one of the garnishes that we're going to do actually is we can show you guys how to make little hearts out of your strawberries. So you can actually use that to garnish right in the middle of the brie. So take a strawberry that's kind of on the smaller end, and you're going to slice it in half right through the greenery. And then what you're going to do is just kind of notch out the top part, the greenery there, to create a little heart. You'll have that.
Oh, that's really cute.
Just cute and super simple, and it looks really pretty as a garnish on the board.
And one thing when you're garnishing the board with the strawberries is always garnish it this side up. A lot of people will put it the other way, but you'll get that nice, color pattern. It just like makes it pop and look really nice when you're doing it that way. Also, I think this recipe was sent, but I'm not totally sure. If you are someone that has a sweet tooth and really likes, a sweet snack, if you dry strawberries, they are delicious and they taste just like red licorice. So it's super easy to make. And again, if you're doing a kid's board and they want something sweet on it, you don't want to load them up with candy and sugar, or if you're doing a dessert board, or like I said, if you're looking for like a late night snack and you don't want to be eating candy late at night, dried strawberries are awesome. So you're going to slice your strawberries nice and thin. You're going to place them evenly on parchment paper, preheat your oven to 200 degrees, put them in there for 2 hours and let them cook nice and slow. Then you take them out, flip them, and cook them for another 45 minutes, and you will have homemade licorice that is delicious and healthy. It is something that people go crazy for on boards. Even on kids' boards, they love it because it's like, hey, they have a sweet, flavorful snack that's not bad for them. So dried strawberries are definitely an absolute thumbs up for me.
Hey, Kerry, can we see that strawberry one more time? We have a
Yeah.
couple people who would like to see one more demonstration.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so you're just gonna slice it in half right through the greenery. So you have 2 halves like that.
Oh, that one pops nice.
That
too.
one
That's
is
a
nice color
yeah.
contrast, yeah. And then you're gonna take the top of it, you're gonna just notch out the greenery to create that little V as the top of the heart. And just kind of tuck that away. Then you're gonna have that pretty strawberry.
So cute.
That's
Very
cute.
nice for a Valentine's Day board,
Yes.
people, you know?
Yeah.
Always thinking ahead.
And the strawberries always look so pretty, especially Christmassy, with the rosemary garnish as well.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice
Pretty.
touch.
You want to show the board?
Yep.
Lindsay, I'm going to switch over to you for a minute. So what are the prizes tonight?
Yes. So we've got 3 fun giveaways tonight. One is, actually I have to show you because these literally just arrived on my doorstep and we are so excited about them. We've got our first Foodqu swag, and they are aprons with the Foodqu logo.
Wow.
Very
Oh, I
exciting.
love it. Oh, I want one right now.
I know. I mean, I kind of want to
I'm placing my order.
Right now, but
Do it.
I was tempted to wear it, but I'm like, we're gonna give this away. So we've got some Foodqu swag. We also have a cheese knife set, the ones that Kerry and Tommy recommended. So that will help you to feel like an absolute
right here.
expert. Yes. You want to pick them up, show them? Yes. So we've got that knife set, which will help you feel like a very professional charcuterie board.
Extraordinaire.
Server. Yes, extraordinaire. That. And then we also have a bamboo cheese board that you can use again to make your own charcuterie boards at home. So we've got 3 giveaways tonight. And again, we are choosing these winners from those of you who are sharing with us in the chat what your FQ is. So maybe we'll take just another 2 minutes to let people take the quiz, and then we'll pick our first winner.
Absolutely. And for whoever wins that bamboo board, I have a cool pro tip on how to clean the boards, because with these cheeses and with the berries, your boards will get stained after even one use of these boards, right? So if you're sort of a holistic person like I kind of am, right? Like vegetarian, I like the natural remedies. So to get the stains out of your board, use a little coarse sea salt, a little bit of baking soda and fresh lemon rind, and you squeeze the lemon and then grind the lemon rind on the board, and the stain will come right out. Now, with bamboo or wood, everything that you do on the top of the board, you'll have to do on the bottom of the board so the board doesn't start to warp. But a little sea salt, lemon rind, baking soda, and the stain will come right out.
That's a great tip, because
Yeah.
a lot of people are buying bamboo boards, but there is a difference in
For sure.
the maintenance of them.
Yeah. We're big. We have bamboo sheets. I'm like, my dad always jokes around. He says he wants to be all bamboo by 2025, like strictly bamboo, everything, you know?
That's awesome. Okay, so what's next? What are we working on?
Oh yeah, if you can see the board, we have red grapes on here right now. Very seasonal. It looks really nice with this board, but another really cool tip, if you want to get a ton of people talking about your board, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with cotton candy grapes. Has anyone had those yet?
Oh, yes.
Oh
yes.
my God. You can get them at any grocery store, but if you buy cotton candy grapes, they taste literally just like cotton candy, and people will go crazy for it. So I'm telling you, if you do a little bit of that dried strawberry, cotton candy grapes, you could have a healthy dessert board and have it just be all fruit based. But yeah, that's a good way to make those pop. We didn't use those for this board, but certainly something that makes your board stand out.
Oh, these are great tips on how to make the holidays. Don't have to be pure, absolute indulgence where you're feeling
Exactly.
like, "Ah." So you can actually have a healthy-ish or better for you, holiday spread.
Absolutely. And get all those same flavors that you're craving too.
Yes.
Someone just said truffle brie at Trader Joe's.
Oh, yes, I've seen that. I haven't
Yeah.
tried
Okay.
Yeah.
We're onto something.
Yeah.
that. So for the grape placement here, like I said, you're just going to try to kind of balance them out on the board. It always looks a little nicer if you do the vine side down. So you kind of just want to have like two little mounds of grapes and try to hide the vines as much as possible. The next part of our garnish, we can actually show you how to make the frosted cranberries. So I think it was sent to you guys in the email, but these cranberries have just been soaked in simple syrup, which is just sugar dissolved in water, and then left out to dry for a little while. So what you can
And
do
what is
is
the
just
ratio, Kerry? Sorry, what is the ratio for simple syrup? Is it half water, half sugar? Or...
That's how I do it.
I was just wondering what your ratio was. Okay.
Maybe like half and half, but I don't know if there's a more.
You kind of eyeball it. Okay, so
I eyeball it.
these-
Yeah.
1-to-1, Chef Romaine. Thank you.
It's a 1-to-1 for these. Okay,
First
great.
of all, super intimidated to answer any food related questions with Chef Romaine in the room, but certainly appreciate the help.
All right, so you can just toss the cranberries right into your bowl of sugar and then just kind of mix them around, and they look like snow-covered little frosted cranberries once you're done mixing them. So this is really nice for like a Christmassy board. And this with the little sprig of rosemary is like my favorite look for Christmas.
And again, I joke around that the key to making cheese boards or charcuterie boards that people talk about is sort of the art of subtlety, right? There's nothing about this that is super complex or really a big mystery to it. It's just little things that you can do at home that are easy to do that will take it from, you brought a cheese platter to a cookout to like, oh my God, like everyone talking about it, right? So again, super easy tip, but something that people will go crazy about.
Really well.
Also, substitution, if you can't find fresh cranberries, pomegranates look really good in here as well.
Yep.
You know what I love about charcuterie boards is that, you can really, you can go to Costco and or Trader Joe's and buy a really nice selection of cheeses, and you could probably find the fig preserves or something like that as well. Some sort of sweet jam and olives and all different accompaniments, like all the nuts that they sell. And then you could also go super high end if you want to, if it's a really special occasion, and go to your local like cheesemonger.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we kind of do. We kind of do a little bit of both, honestly. And again, we love using the local cheese shops because they can give you a lot of really good tips too on what to pair it well with. For example, with the Brie, they like to pair that with like a sparkling wine because it cuts kind of through that fat. And then for the rest of the board, I really like a red wine. I think that really like a nice, what did we? Pinot Noir. Yeah, with the rest of the board. But pick up little tips and tricks from your local artisans that are around also. Monica, I saw Monica had a question, but I wasn't able to read it.
She asked if you can refrigerate the cranberries prior to serving.
You can. The tip to that is just make sure once you soak the cranberries in the simple syrup, make sure they're really pretty dry before you put before you coat them in sugar. It tends to kind of just get a little moist in the refrigerator, and it kind of loses that like frosted look to it. But it does last for a few days.
Okay, good to know. Thanks.
And then using the fresh cranberries also, we made a little spritzer tonight for the holiday theme. So we did a little fresh cranberries, a little ginger ale. I'm a big ginger ale guy. And then just a little dub of the proper 12 Irish whiskey to make a little Christmassy drink. And they're absolutely delicious. Very festive, delicious, and they look really nice as well. So cheers to everyone here. Yeah.
Cheers.
All right, so Now you're gonna get in, and this is where you can kind of be a little creative with everything. Everybody's board is gonna look slightly different. But you're gonna take your strawberries and your blueberries and your pecans or whatever else you have for garnish. And then just like I said earlier, try to kind of evenly space them around the board.
So it looks like you're filling in the nooks and crannies.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
You have the dark chocolate in the pecans as well.
Oh, you have dark chocolate.
So what we typically do with the pecans is a nice sea salt dark chocolate. Yes, yeah. So we have the sweet on this board's like the gingerbread, but if you're looking to do a board, a real nice mix with the pecans is like a sea salt dark chocolate. And not only is it super flavorful and awesome, and I'm not even a huge chocolate fan, and I like that because it has that salty note to it, but it also works as a great palate cleanser. So with these like flavorful cheeses on the board, the dark chocolate acts really nicely. If you have like some brie and salami, and then you pop in a slice of that dark chocolate, then you can move over to the other side of the board. A couple other palate cleansers. If you're doing the baguette, a nice bread is a really good palate cleanser. Or if you're making sort of a brunchy type board, you could do like a sorbet as like a nice palate cleanser as well. So when you have those strong flavors, it's nice to have something on there that can help clear the palate and move on to the other side of the board.
So is the chocolate, is that drizzled over the pecans or is that separate?
You know what, you could do that.
That sounds delicious.
Typically what we do is we buy a bar of it and break it up into little pieces and kind of fill in the board. But heck, if you want to kick it up a notch, let's drizzle it over. Yeah.
Right. Well, maybe class 2.
Yeah. And I don't know if I maybe saw another question there. I'm not sure. I'm trying to read it
Yeah,
without,
so
like having my face on
I
the
got your
laptop.
back. That's
Oh,
what I'm
Lindsay's
here for.
got
I'm
you.
the
There we
perfect
go.
person. Okay, so Kristen asked, have you ever done anything with pickled veggies?
Oh, you know what I made
That sounds
actually?
Yeah.
so good.
I sliced radishes really thin and pickled them. And I actually used the 1 ounce cup. And I made kind of this version of the rose, the same way where you kind of layer it around and spiral it that way. And once you pickle the radishes, it kind of pulls in the pink reddish color from the center. And the color of the pickled radishes is like a beautiful pink.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
really
Yeah.
pretty. So
Oh, that sounds gorgeous.
And that might also be a
great
nice
idea.
substitution for a vegetarian that's looking to make
Right.
a rose too, is a pickled radish.
Yeah.
Pickled radish. I love pickling. It's so delicious. And I think that that's a great idea. I'm going to try that.
Yeah, it looked so pretty.
It
too.
looks
The
so
color
nice.
was
Yeah.
beautiful. Then if you guys have rosemary, this is where I think the board really starts to pop, is garnishing your flowers. You can just kind of tuck the rosemary, a little sprig of rosemary right on the inside of the plastic cup, in between that and the outer petals of your salami rose.
Oh, this is looking so abundant.
Isn't it coming together?
It
And
really
then I like
is.
to do a little sprig of rosemary right in the center of the Brie Pinwheel, and then garnish that with a few of your freshly frosted cranberries. And then you can fill in the cranberries around the board too, to kind of pull in all those colors.
Look at that. We're getting a festive holiday board here.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, and look at those cranberries in the center.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the sprig of rosemary too, put a little rosemary with these cheeses is so delicious that it's like, it's way more than just a garnish too. It's so good. Yeah.
It's true. I've done that with cheese and adding a little bit of the fig preserves. Oh,
Yeah.
so it's dreamy. And this looks beautiful. Thank you so
Oh, yeah.
much.
To finish it off, your little gingerbread people right there,
Oh, right.
right on the end for a nice touch. And there you go. That's your holiday charcuterie board.
What a
Maybe you better-
beautiful board.
I'd love
thank
to see
you
how
both
everyone's
so
came
I
out.
know. Yeah. Make sure to
Yeah,
tag
so
us in
anyone
Foodqu.
has any photos that they'd like to share, we would love to see them. Either tonight, you can put it in the chat, or definitely tag Charcuterie Woo and of course Foodqu because we want to highlight those. And even if you didn't make it tonight, make it like, even if you're making it this week or next week, definitely tag us all, because it would be really fun to see it in action with everyone.
Absolutely. Or for the holidays, like if you're bringing this to a holiday party, definitely tag us. Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, so now Lindsay, we're going to turn back to you because I know you have some special things for everyone.
Yes, we've got some giveaway winners, and Kerry and Tommy, thank you so much. This has been,
Thank you.
I'm so hungry right now. I cannot wait to go eat some charcuterie. And we would also love it if you guys can make sure to snap a photo tonight before you dig into that board. We would love to share that on our social media again. Okay, so we've got 3 winners. Thank you to everyone who took the quiz, shared with us in the chat what your FQ is. If you haven't had a chance to do that yet, you can do it at any time. And then if you have taken the quiz, we would also love for you to join us inside of the community at Foodqu. We've got some amazing things going on inside of Foodqu, and maybe Kristen can come in here for a minute at the end and share a little bit about that. But our giveaway winners, we've got 3 winners. The winner of our beautiful brand new swag Foodqu apron is Patricia Marshall. And if I announce your name as a winner, if you could just send me a direct message in the chat and let me know your address, I can get these mailed out to you right away. The winner of our cheese knife set is Tiffany McMillan. Same thing. If you can send me your address, I'll get that right over to you. And then,
you both.
yes, congratulations. And then the bamboo cheese board, we've got Michelle Obert. So congratulations to the 3 of you. Thank you so much for sharing your FQ with us and participating in the chat tonight. This has been such a fun event.
It's been so much fun. And Kerry and Tom, we want to thank you so much. And before we close, I want to turn over to Kristen Barclay, the founder of Foodqu. And just, Kristen, if you could just share with us a little bit about Foodqu for those who have not experienced it yet.
Sure thing. And I'm going to respect everyone's time because it's 2 minutes before 8. But this was this was like my dream, right? To be able to bring all these people together and to share, you know, a love of food and to, you know, commune. That's what Foodquark's all about. You know, I originally started Foodqu because of a need, because, you know, I turned veganish and my children ate differently and my husband ate differently. And I was like, how am I going to do this? And, you know, I just envisioned a place where, you know, no matter how you eat, you're always welcome. And that we could learn from each other and you could self-identify through food in a much more personalized way. And meet other people like you, no matter if you eat exactly the same way or if you don't, but to be able to learn and commune. And we're really excited. You know, we're still in beta, and the quiz is just like the first part of Foodqu. The rest of it is the community. And so, as Lindsay mentioned, please join. There's so many exciting things happening, especially as we move into 2022, and we would love to have you all join us. So thank you so much, Kerry and Tom. You were amazing. I'm just humbled to have you here, and I appreciate Monica bringing you guys to the table. And Leighton, I want to see your board.
That's what I was thinking.
Let's see. Leighton, did you hear? Can you?
Oh,
thanks, Jason. Yeah,
wow.
that looks amazing.
And well done.
I made them put vegetables on it. And Hudson's there too.
Hi, Hudson.
Hi, Hudson.
Yours.
Hi, Hudson.
Yeah.
I think there's going to need to be a kids class next. Just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely should.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we might have to do a dessert one too, a dessert charcuterie board.
The dessert boards are so good.
Yeah. I'm going to let Lisa close us out, but I just want to wish everyone happy holidays. Thank you so much for being on this Foodqu journey with us and spending your evening with us. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you for having us.
Kristen. And Kerry and Tom, thank you so much. This has been such a fun evening. And I know we've all learned a lot. We've gotten some great tips. And I think we all know what we're bringing to the holiday party. And Lindsay, as always, wonderful co-host. Couldn't do it without you. And
Round of applause.
Yay. And Kristen, and as Kristen said, happy holidays to each of you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I really hope to see you on Foodqu. I mean, we're all having a great time and it's a really incredible community. So happy holidays, everyone. Have a great evening and enjoy your charcuterie boards.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Holidays.
Hey.